Bob Lazar was like this physicist that worked, and he said he worked at whatever something Lake or Roswell. I watched it. It started to get repetitive after like maybe about 45 minutes into like the 90-minute or 2-hour movie that it was. So I was like, all right, I'm good. I got what he was trying to say. The first part of it, they're kind of like telling you how he was and all the stuff he knew, and then later on, it's like, oh, they denounced him. Oh, he never worked here. We didn't know him. So, excuse me.
I'm gonna have to check that one on now.
Yeah,
You usually give me great things to watch and read. So
yeah, it's. I mean, it's not necessarily the greatest thing to watch. I'm not, but since I was figuring you might know where the alien bodies are buried. I was just trying to, see if I could pressure you on the show.
I have not seen or met any. I'm sorry.
Oh, well, you couldn't tell me even if you did. So, on to the next thing. Let me see. So we've known each other for many years now. We first, because you're originally from the Bronx.
Yep.
And I'm from Brooklyn.
Yep. Yep. We happened to meet at Camp Madison.
Right.
Kingston, New York.
Kingston, New York. The Boys and Girls Club had a place called Camp Madison. And it took inner city kids like myself and Dom, and they introduced us into the wild of upstate New York. I mean, for us, it was like...
The wild is right. Yep.
It was like another planet.
Yeah.
Compared to being in the city, especially the city during the 80s? It was the 80s.
It was the 80s. And you know what? God bless them. I'm so glad for that organization because, growing up in New York in the 80s, especially in the summertime, that was always an adventure every day. So it kept me on out of trouble, taking me on out that environment at least for 2 weeks to a month that we was there.
Yeah. Then later on, when we became counselors, I mean, we started off as what do you call them? Started as campers. And then later on, I met you when I was a camper and you were like a ranger. And it was like a in-between job. You weren't officially old enough to have a full-time job, but they could pay you like a stipend or something like that. You remember that?
They would pay us a little stipend and they would have us doing the most dangerous. I look back now and I'm like, wow, I have no idea how we survived. Fighting off copperheads and black racists and whatnot. And we did it. And we had the best time of our lives just acting crazy.
Yeah. So what was some of the jobs as a ranger is in camp? What were some of those jobs that you did? Some things they had you guys doing?
Oh, it taught me landscaping. That was the first thing. It actually taught me cooking. One of the jobs was being in the kitchen. It also, as far back as I can remember, I think that's what actually put me in with the mentoring bug is once I became a counselor there and having an effect that you can actually see with young kids and hopefully steering them in the right direction. That stuck with me. So it's something that I plan to do even when I retire. Maybe doing a high school ROTC program and stuff like that. But I think I can, matter of fact, I know I can attribute that to our experiences up at Camp Madison.
Yeah, Camp Madison definitely made a big difference in my life too. Unfortunately, it doesn't exist anymore. The Boys and Girls Club, I don't know if they still do any summer programs, but that place is gone. I don't know what happened. I don't know all the legalities for it, but man, we used to do so much crazy shit while being up there as a kid.
Oh my God. Yes. But if I had won lotto or something like that, I wouldn't have invested in that camp to keep it there and let Madison Square Boys and Girls Club keep going on with that. It had that much of an effect on me, and I know yourself as well.
Mm-hmm.
On the things that you do, and to this day, a lot of people that we still keep in contact to this day, we still talk about Camp Madison.
Yeah, I think the craziest thing that we experienced from being over there and from being a camper to then working for the camp itself was when they brought people in from other countries to come work.
Yes.
So this camp would bring in people from like Europe and as far as Australia, actually.
Australia, Ireland, they came from all over and different walks of life, different levels of the social ladder.
Right, and they would be counselors.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I remember I met one guy. I think his name was Mike. He was from Tasmania. Like,
you remember him? Like
the Tasmanian Devil. Remember him? Like Tasmanian Devil. And he was from Tasmania, and we took him to the city for the first time because we'd get a weekend off, and he rode on the train for the first time, and he looked so like blown away by it. I'll never forget that. And he was just like, he's looking, and his eyes are wide, and he's like looking in between the cars and stuff, and he goes, "It's so loud." That's something we take for granted as New Yorkers, that how loud the train system is.
Yeah, we don't even notice it anymore. My daughters told me the same thing. Like, how can you ride this thing all the time? Kind of used to it at so many years. But
yeah, we fall asleep on the damn things.
Yes. Although I would not advise falling asleep on the New York City subway, it has been done. But I used to enjoy finding out the different terms or dialects that they use that was just crazy to us, but normal to them. Just to find out different things in their culture. So that was a fun aspect of camp too.
Yeah, it definitely opened my eyes that there was a bigger world outside of Brooklyn. And of course, we always had our Brooklyn versus the Bronx rivalry just because those boroughs, I think they were just very similar style of boroughs versus like Manhattan, which seemed like, I don't know, it seemed like its own planet that was way different than the three outer boroughs like Queens, Brooklyn, and the Bronx. We don't even, do we even talk about Staten Island? Did we know anybody from camp that came from Staten Island?
Wait, Staten Island? That's part of New York now. Much love to my Strong Island folks. But no, as a matter of fact, no. Unfortunately, there were no boys clubs out there in Staten Island. I'm sure some of them might have came on in and came through maybe was there a Queens boys club?
I know that there were people that came from Queens. I don't remember if there's a Queens Boys Club, but there were definitely people that came from Queens. Not a lot, but there was Manhattan, Queens, definitely a lot in Brooklyn because we had Brooklyn Navy Yard. And then the Bronx had two clubs. You had Hoe Avenue. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that's an actual name of a street. Hoe Avenue.
That's right.
And then you had Columbus, I think, or something like that.
That was in the Bronx.
Yeah, those two were the Bronx ones. And then Madison was the Manhattan branch.
That was 29th Street. Yeah,
29th Street.
I used to go down there. So I think that boys club is still there.
I believe so, but I'm not 100%. I think the boys clubs are all still there. I know Hoe Avenue. I've seen it. I don't know if it's open, but I do believe it's still there. But I don't know what type of like programs they have for the kids or out of the city programs. I have not a clue. Probably something I should have looked up before I even had this conversation with you.
But now you piqued my interest, so I'm gonna have to look them on up. But 29th Street, I particularly remember because I was banned from there for quite some time for fighting. So, no, ladies and gentlemen, I wasn't always the upstanding member of society I am now. There was some trouble, but this is what the Boys and Girls Club did for me. Is got me on out of that mindset.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, look, let's take a little quick break, and we'll be right back.
Glass of whiskey with a loaded weapon. Russian roulette trigger happy, man, just blow my head in. Virginia black got me reminiscing on misconceptions. My past is haunting me late at night, got me stressing. I love my mama, no doubt about it, no further questions. She taught me lessons to be humble, watching my aggression. I love her daily, though we all through my head.
You finished with your first beer?
Yeah, but I'm just about there. I'm catching on up to you.
All right, well, catch on up because our second beer, we're going for another Golden Monkey.
Oh boy!
All right, I'd like to give you that sound that you get when you pour the beer into the big mug. Speaking of which, thank you very much again to you and Nivea. You guys are so awesome. Gave Evie and I a wonderful wedding gift and gave us these
our pleasure.
really beautiful mugs. Oh, man. This thing is shorting out. Come on. Work with me. There we go. Shorten out my headset. But, yeah, we got this. They gave me this beautiful beer mug. It's got like a family crest style looking thing on the front. And I'm going to get down on some more Golden Monkey.
Well, I wasn't able to, while I was in Germany, I wasn't able to bring you back a Stein, so I figured this would be a good way for you both. But definitely, I wish we could have been there, but in these troubling times, I definitely understand. But I know you guys are perfect for each other.
Yeah, thank you very much. We definitely have to do a trip to Germany for Oktoberfest. You were stationed out there for how many years?
I was stationed out there for 3 years.
3 years? And did you ever make it to Oktoberfest?
I unfortunately did not. I was usually gone. Deployed, that time was Iraq. So I was gone for 15 months. So I left right before Oktoberfest the second year. And then the third year came back right after Oktoberfest.
Oh, man, that sucks.
Yeah.
So you were in Iraq 2 tours, is that correct?
Iraq twice and Afghanistan once.
Oh, wow. Well, I don't know if I've told you plenty of times how grateful I am for your service, but I'm definitely going to say it on the air. I want to thank you for your service, Dom, because that is
my pleasure.
A serious accomplishment, and I'm glad you're back.
You and me both, man. I got to say, I'm looking forward to retirement, brother.
And you are short timing for retirement, aren't you?
I'm short timing. I'm about 13 months on out from starting what we call terminal leave, which is basically I don't go to work anymore. I just continue to get paid until my final transition on out.
Gotcha. Now, if you had to give any advice to, let's say, another soldier who's going to be deployed to the Middle East, because I mean, I went to the Middle East, but I didn't go. I didn't go like a soldier. I went as a private contractor, and it was totally different. I didn't go into Iraq or Afghanistan. I was just in Saudi Arabia, and I went to Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, and then Dubai. So it was kind of like, it was like in the difference between camping with just a backpack, some string and a rope, and glamping. What I did to compared to what you did. What'd you say? I'm sorry.
Well, I said Bahrain is nice.
Oh, it was beautiful, man. Bahrain was like really beautiful, and it was kind of weird because the streets are very empty. But Bahrain, met a lot of nice, beautiful ladies. I'll never forget. I went into a bar for the first time, and there was like a band playing, and I hadn't heard music, like live music that was in English. I hadn't heard any live music in a long time. And we went into this bar, and then like I went to go to the bar, and like we walked in, me and 2 other my buddies, and I felt like all the women just turned their head and looked at us. I was like, oh, that's weird. And then all of a sudden, girls coming up to us and touching our arm, hey, hey, hey. Like I was like, whoa. It was a very weird experience.
That sounds about right.
I never felt so pretty in my life. And, prior to that, I don't think I'd said more, and not to be, racist, but I hadn't said more to an Asian woman other than chicken fried rice and chicken with broccoli or something like that. You know what I mean? Like it was never a full on conversation. Mm-hmm. Living in, living in New York, you think I would have more conversation with Asian people, but no. So they were like, "Oh, hey, what are you doing? Where you from? Blah blah blah." I was just like, "Wow, this is